We are live. Thank you. Okay. So this meeting is being recorded. Okay. Good morning,
Greetings.
family. Good morning. I hope all is on the mat. I have the wonderful greetings. I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing to you a very good friend of mine. I met Jewel here in the Gambia, and I've always said it's been a pleasure for me to be taken out of my safe space in New York City, come to the Gambia and meet people here in Africa from the United States. And chances are we never would have met in the US, but we get a chance to become kindred spirits. I've gotten to know you from more than just a spiritual leader that you are. And so I come to you with a lot of respect and reverence because of that. And I see the work that you're doing. So I wanted to bring you to my channel because I know you and I want other people to know you. So I'm going to do the basics that we've learned of who, what, when, where, why, and how, and allow you to answer as you see fit. So let's start with who are you?
I'm Jewel Colbert. Black Jewel Tarot is my YouTube channel, as well as Reverend Tiny. So I come under a many of names, and Epritha Jewel under TikTok. Epritha is my foundation and a spiritual name that I've had for 20 years. And that's a whole nother gambit of history. I say that I am a Moor, standing on my Moorish heritage and my brethren. That's a whole nother dialogue. But today I come to you as just who I am, a woman who loves to serve, and just the energy to be here in Africa to do the work. And we could go right into it.
Great. So what is the work that you do?
Well, I do ceremony, ritual. I don't like to
Can
use the
you hear,
word.
sis?
I can hear you. I hope you can hear me. It's turned up. And you know the internet, the bandwidth is kind of horrible here, but we have to deal with it. So I'm gonna keep talking.
Yes.
And, if we have to fill in the blanks, we can, no problem. Re-ask the question if you need to. So, like I said, who I am, I'm Jewel. I came here on a spiritual journey, no other than the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And prior, I was giving offerings and petitioning my ancestors and also lamenting, like, what is my due course now that I'm in the second transition of my life and renewing my life as being a mother and a grandmother. It's time for me to live my life. I've did all of the domestic housekeeping. It's like this is a whole new life. But within that, our people have suffered so much. We have slavery, Jim Crow, civil rights, all of the hip hop, the crack epidemic, all of these ills that has
Mhm.
been placed upon our people. That energy is so thick that, like they say, you can cut it with a knife. And I'm here to do the cutting. I've been placed in that position to be the cake cutter. And when I say that, it hasn't been easy, so I won't sit up here and play games like, oh, it's so easy and da 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 da. No, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of lamenting. It takes a lot of opening your soul to even navigate the space. Um, when I first got off the plane, I damn near kissed the ground because it was such a freedom in the air that I've never experienced in America. And just coming here alleviated a lot of that dark energy. When I got here, I knew that I was placed in my true position as being a spokesperson for spirituality, a leader for a new age spirituality, where a person like me, where say came from the hood and I'm good, where giving spiritual fruits and words of wisdom, not only from the Bible, but other spiritual systems that I've learned along this long journey. So this is not something new. It's been in the making for years. But when I got here to the Gambia, it just exploded and united where, okay, Joe, this is it. Go to the ocean. Okay, light 7 candles. Okay, we need 7 mints. We need this. And it's just been put together and directed by my spiritual team. The ancestors are definitely with me, and so are the ancients. And I cannot even speak without saying what a great privilege and honor it is to be that one, to venerate their names, known and unknown, right? To uplift their spirits. And I could keep going on and on. There's so much to say. It's a passion, so I have a lot to say, but I don't want to hold you up too much. If you have another question,
Oh,
just ask me.
I do. Just to let you know, I really do appreciate you, and I'm going to be having you come on more often. That's why I am introducing you here. We will be having a panel of women on Saturday talking about sex in Africa and what that looks like. And so that's going to be interesting. And we'll talk more about why that came about. But it has to do really with our spiritual walk and the reason why we have been brought here. And sometimes we think we're coming like a long-term vacation. We're coming to relocate to live our best retired life. And then we get here and we find that there is a need that has to be filled. And that along our journey of living, we have been downloading the information, and then we're put in that position where we're called to share, we're called to heal,
Definitely.
we're called to open up. And so I truly understand what you are talking about. I appreciate you for hearing the call and being obedient. So my next question would be, so you did answer when. So you did kind of answer when. Quickly, how long have you been here? When did you arrive in the Gambia initially?
Initially, October, almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. In October, it'll be two full years. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So where can we find you? Where are your platforms?
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the usual. Epitha Jewel on TikTok. Anywhere else is Black Jewel or Black Jewel Tarot. YouTube and Instagram is Black Jewel Tarot. And that is one of the platforms that I use to do readings. Personally, Black Jewel 555 at gmail.com if you want a personal reading or you want to take any of my services under my life coaching, you can email me. And then my phone number, 223-0877, the local Gambian number, always available.
Okay, and that's on WhatsApp. That's correct. That number is on WhatsApp.
Yeah, you could share
So
it.
family, download WhatsApp on your phone. Yeah. Also, so we kind of talked about the why, but let's go just a little further into why. So why did you feel a need to become a life coach or to bring your spirituality here to the continent?
Thank you for that question. And I'm glad you asked, and I appreciate you so much for even willing to go deep. I came from the hood. I came from the trenches where you really didn't get chances, and spirituality was an unspoken word and unspoken literally. And growing up, I was raised in a Christian household, and all I knew was to go to the Kingdom Hall and to do, Bible reading. And so I formed a personal relationship with God early on in my life. That led me to ask questions early on in my life, like, why don't we honor and venerate our ancestors? And I was told it was demonistic, but everything was demonic growing up. So I couldn't do nothing, couldn't watch nothing, couldn't go anywhere. And I did form a resentment, but then a love for God itself, because my mother was sick and I often had to pray or find myself praying, because she could die at any minute. So when she would lose her breath in the middle of the night, I'm, praying in my room, what are we going to do? Please send a miracle. And miracles did happen for me in my early on life. That led me in my adulthood needing a spiritual system that worked for me. So I sought out other spiritual systems, and just I kept just going and going and seeking out, and went to Buddhism and, Hinduism and all kind of other things that just stayed with me, and learning systems like breath work that changed me, that healed me from my own personal trauma and my spiritual trauma, being that, and maybe that's the wrong term, but being in a Christian dogmatic religion, I wasn't honored as a female, and I wasn't, nobody really cared in that system, and a lot of times, and I talked about this in my channel last week, a lot of times the elders and the deacons are up here and they high and mighty, and we're down here, and they don't want to meet you right here. And then they want you down here, you trying to learn the Bible, James 4:8, draw close to God, he'll draw close to you. And they like, come on. And you just can't do it. Some days you need that hand, you need some water poured on you, you need to petition the ancestors, and it's things that you don't get in Christianity, that when you become a spiritualist, you learn things and modalities that's just going to help bring humanity back. So as a human being in a female energy, pouring love into that space, that's what was given to me. And that's what I want to give to all our young people, our moms, our queen mothers, and be that channel of energy, that conduit that magnetizes the spirituality here.
I love that. You use the words bring humanity back, bring our humanity back. That is something that we really need, whether it's here in the Gambia or in the United States. For a lot of us, we came to the continent of Africa so that we could slow down a little bit. We find ourselves going back to the future. And even though I was born and raised in New York City, I meet a lot of people from the Midwest, from the South, and they say that the Gambia reminds them of of an old time when they were younger, when streets weren't paved, when they saw horse and carriage and cows roaming and stuff like that. And even when they had an outhouse, or not always a lot of electricity. So it's something that it's so familiar to them. So even though they've never been here, and for most of us, it's been the first time in Africa, it just seems like home. It's like, oh, okay. And so you are placed where you do have to sit still with yourself. So even though we do appreciate being in the 21st century, we love having technology at our fingertips. If not for technology, we wouldn't have this Zoom this afternoon. And so we do appreciate it. But then we get to come off of Zoom and go out our front door and we're not seeing skyscrapers and high rises and hearing a lot of honking noises on the road. And well, sometimes, but it just makes for, it gives a balance in our life that we probably didn't have when we were in the stage just hustling. With that being said, we have an opportunity to go into the second chapter of our lives differently. So I don't have to relate to you as mommy or grandma, but just the individual, the human individual that you are. And so for that, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Leslie, when you said the Midwest, I'm originally for Des Moines, Iowa, where people are just shocked like there's black people. And I say, yeah, they all my cousins, they're all my relatives. And so this is very homey because here you see somebody that looks like somebody in your family. You know, I met a man look just like my dad. I met a woman look just like my auntie. I seen somebody look just like my cousin. And so it brings a very personal touch to being here because it's like, oh, I know you, my auntie. Come on. You meet people and it's like, no, we family. Especially Mama Amma looks just like my sister Nora, just like her.
Wow.
And I had to call her and like, look, sissy. And she was like, yeah, she do look like me. So that's just been fun, too, just to relate to people and like know your family. So we
I
can't leave.
love that. That's right. So let me see. So I want to share the screen because I want to let people know what it is that you are doing here, how they can reach you. We are having a special service on Friday, which is tomorrow, which you're going to be, I'll ask you to do more in detail of that. And that came out of the situation with the service we had for Anja Africa. Andrea Martin. And one of the women was like, oh, this is such a wonderful idea. We should get together more often. And so Ubuntu, or the idea of because of you, I am, and we have this connection with each other. Every connection, I believe, like you, has to be done at the ocean. When I first got here, I realized I was in the right place. I was in Tanzania first, in Arusha. But it was when I came to Gambia and drumming and dancing, I knew this was where I was supposed to be. And so I now call the Gambia home. But I believe that all trauma for the enslaved Africans who left the shores started at the ocean. The last place that they saw of home was at the ocean when they got on board the ships. When we return with our ancestors, I believe we had to go back to the ocean in order to get free of the trauma. And so the first Juneteenth that we had when I was here, we brought the ancestors back. We welcomed them home. They've said, stay true to your God and true to your native land. It was always the desire to return. Now, and we'll talk about that on another occasion because I don't want it to go over. Let me go ahead and share the screen with you. Before I do that, please, you were talking about a special that you're offering for Mother's Day, which is coming up around the corner for those in the United States. We're in the month of June, and Mother's Day, I'm sorry, the month of May, and May 12th is Mother's Day. So we are going to be honoring the mothers on that day. I know in the UK, I think Mother's Day is in March. Don't quote me on that, but it's not in the month of May. So I was asking you a question about the ×3. Let me just read what you read, what you sent me. And I'm going to try to also share that on the screen as well, because it mentions your Cash App, your Zelle, and PayPal. I want people to feel free to bless you with any money that they feel led to give. It says that you are offering a Mother's Day special for prayer offerings and Father's Day. In June, I will be doing all month offering, and then you mentioned the word 3x or 3 times. Can you please share that with me?
3 times, just like it means 3 times. So the crescent moon, the full moon, the new moon and the full moon. I'm sorry, I just got a call. And what this is about for both mother and father spirit is uplifting and bringing the humanity back to the souls who have crossed over before us. It's so important. When I crossed that Atlantic Ocean last week, I went to Kunta Kinte Island. So when you see that door of no return, I'm sorry because I get emotional too. This was the
Yes.
second time that I did an offering. So I want to piggyback and tell you the experience and share just a little bit about the experience when I went the first time. Down in the dungeon where they kept the slaves, the energy was so thick and it was like hell. I was standing in hell. I could not describe it any other way, that it was so hot that I just began to sweat pouring down off of me. And I offered bread and water and of course, the few course essentials, and I said my prayer and did libations. This time I went, I took a rowboat, something you should not be in, the Gambian fishing boats going across the Atlantic. But what happened, Leslie, and I really want ancestors be with me, let me explain this feeling right. The energy that carried me across the water,
Mm.
I instantly felt all of their pain. All of their cries I heard as they jumped off of the boat, and they rather die than be a slave. We were casualties of war. We were prisoners of war. We did not ask to go. So when I gave the offering, and you have the video, I don't know if it's a full video because I was in full ceremony, but I offered a loaf of bread to go around and I passed it amongst the group. And I said, just imagine being here back then, and all they wanted was something to eat. Share this loaf of bread with them. All they wanted was alcohol to clean their wounds. Heal with them. This is such an opportunity to be placed in that doorway and also that spiritual segue, to be the conduit, to be the channel, to hear their voices and say, Jewel, this is what we need, bring it. I brought cashews and dates and things that they've never asked before. And I was so surprised when I actually heard the thank yous and the feelings of the touches of praise. That daughter, we love you and thank you. And that's why it's so important, because nobody remembered them. And maybe we did in some way, but who's actually going over there and giving offerings and lay this out and lighting the candles and saying, no, we love you, we thank you, and we honor you and we venerate you. And then this shit stops now. All of this violence that still plagues our people, and not knowing and not being honored for our true divinity. We have to come together. We must come together. So within the special that I'm offering, prayers to my mother died when I was 14. Placing humanity amongst our mothers and our grandmothers who picked up the
Yes.
slack for us. Big Mama, Big Mama, thank you. Our big
Yes.
mamas. And like I said, I do get emotional because I was a young child that I was thrown to the wolves. I was left and turned away. But I knew my God would save me.
Mhm.
In some way, somehow, I'm here in Africa on a spiritual mission to say, we're cleansing the plague. We are one. As a collective, we are one. We're all a part of this intricate web that is weaved through the cosmos. We're all going to do our part. We all have something to give, and honor the gifts in each and every one of us. So if I
Yes.
bring a cake and you bring a pickle, It's no better that we're gonna bring it, we're gonna share. It might not even sound good, but we're gonna do it together. And so I'm offering, if anybody they want to, I petition the ancestors. And when I lament to them, I'm pouring out my heart to bring back humanity and uplift the mother's spirit and let her be placed, properly placed in her dominion. And I honor the divinity in each one of you. Like, you know, you've been there. I honor the divinity in you, baby. Right? So that's what I'm offering, prayers, petitions, and I don't like to use the word pray because you know we're changing our thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But petitions
Mm-hmm.
on behalf of those who we've lost. And let me tell you, I've lost children, I've lost a husband, I've lost mothers, grandmothers, aunties, and then we go on into uncles, and I was born on Father's Day, June 16th. So I have a soft spot for men, and I say I'm their gift. They just love me, and I love them, right? Let me hold your hand. So with that being said, our Black men have suffered so much. How can we not say they're not strong and they're no good? All of these things that we've heard or that I've heard from childhood, there is no beat down man in my life. There's circumstances and situations that have been placed in. Some have made bad choices, some have made better choices than others, and some have made great choices and are phenomenal. Being said, we still have to uplift that spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They was buck broken. They watched their women being raped.
Mm-hmm.
They could not take care of their families because the jobs and the education was taken from them. So in June, this is a special month because it's my birthday and I get to honor my father, my grandfather. It's going to be 3 times in June. I will be doing special ceremonies at the ocean to bring back sweetness to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our men sometimes just need a kiss on the cheek, and a hug. And where I came from, it was a song, you know, thugs need love. I will not forget my people who I grew up with. I'm definitely a hip hop generation, 50 years of hip hop. I'm 50 years old. I'm all about, I'm not gonna say that, but I can't, you know, try not to use the N word, but
Ah.
I love y'all, you know. I'm giving it up and I'm shouting them out. And I don't care, Bloods and Crips, Pyru, Disciple Lords. No, we all need healing. And we can't take away the little man from the big man. No, we're all one. And that's the importance of the work. For me, I see everybody. I don't care if you're a professor or a doctor or a pastor or a lawyer. I don't care if you homeless on that street. I got petitions for you, and I'm a lament to my ancestors and my ancients for each and every one, because together we're a whole. We're not breaking this up no more. I can't do it. Somebody else can. I can't. I'm here for everybody.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. So we're getting together tomorrow, which is our special Ubuntu service. And I'm going to share the screen so they can see what it is that I'm talking about and what we will be hosting or what you will be hosting. Let's see. Share screen, bear with me.
Yes, thank you.
Let me just unshare a minute and go back because my WhatsApp is doing something very interesting now. Hold on. You know, I had everything set up wonderfully,
Of
and
course.
then
Yes, of course. And then it
yeah, you know
crashed.
how it goes.
You can't
Yeah,
get
it's
back
like
in.
wait a minute, where that screen be at? Where that at? Aha. Okay. Let's start here. Wonderful. Now I can share. I'm so excited to be sharing this information with people because The last service that we had was a small one, but it was needed. So it says here, come home and let's go every first Friday of the month. And that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. But I do understand that you're offering this service for individuals who are not here in the Gambia. For those that cannot be on the shores, they still have the ability to contact you. Can you share more about that?
Yes, ma'am. You can see my email is down at the bottom. Email me with your petition and what you need to just get off your chest. I'll bring prayers to the ocean. Your lamentations will be received. For donations, you can catch me at Cash App, Zelle. The Zelle does go to my foundation, the Ephrata Foundation. However, we all need ear for somebody to listen, and I'm your girl. I'm gonna keep it lightweight. I'm your girl. I want to help all of us. So please contact me. I'm taking it to the ocean. I can channel energy to see what your ancestors are actually needing from you and what you need to do, what I need to bring. All of that can be done. And I'm so happy and excited too to be doing this work because it's so important. And when I say come home, the water, we were water first, the primordial waters of noon. We were water first. So this inkling bubbles up and it's so natural, the flow of it to just come home. Water is home. Letting go. Come home and let go. Letting go is always cleansing. Water is spiritual, water is cleansing, and water is healing. And that's why this work is done at the ocean. And when you email me, I'll be giving you special bath ingredients to take spiritual baths so you can do your healing on your part and how to do it in what segments. Some people, it's different for everybody. I do individual, I want to say diagnosis, but everybody gets their own thing done personally for me. And the spiritual baths have been well received, well received. So I'm happy about that. So yes, family, come home, let go, email me, tell me what you need, and I will do my best to fulfill it.
Here's the information, a little bit. Somebody says no D, no D, no D, and no D. Why
So
did you have this?
I have to clap because this is me celebrating my life in and out of recovery. I went through all the AA, NA, CA, and SA, which is sex. All of these courses gave me something, and this was my acronym of how I saved my life when it got to be too much and I was out there doing too much in the 90s and the early 2000s. So yes, it was no D, no D, and look at me, fluffy as I am, no donuts, right? And that's just keeping it real, right? So this is analogy, but this is my signature course of how transformation happens, baby. You can win at life. And you might not have to do the first one, but you definitely got to do the second one. You might have not have to do the second one, but you definitely got to do the last one. And all of us love cake. So, it ain't no getting around the donut part because it's about transformation, and whatever that is, I'm meeting you where you at. And it's all a spiritual transformation because we work with the spirit and the energy to get that moving first. So you can conquer the demons, right? And these were my three demons that I had to get over. And then we'll talk about this more next week because sex in the Gambia, that came up for me more and more and more and more, and how I had to just like, no, Jewel, continue to transform, continue to use my spiritual modalities. You see, just say no, right? It works. Just say no. It's a whole ass answer. Just say no. There's my information, my local Gambian number, my WhatsApp, and blackjewel555@gmail.com. Get with your girl.
acknowledging the divinity in each of us. Explain that to me.
Well, like I said before, we were taken out of our divinity. We're taken away from home. We're not even acknowledged as human. It's still the Dred Scott law. We're still considered 3/5 of a human. We're not even whole when it comes to these circuit courts, the federal courts. I am
Okay,
acknowledging.
so I see here, sorry. Continue, please, sister.
Okay, now you stopped me, so I'm like, oh, where did I leave off? Okay. 3/5 of the law, we're not considered human, bringing humanity and saluting the divinity in each one of my male and female energies. These are archetypes, are spirituality. It was taken away from us. So I have 2 meditations a week, Monday and Thursdays, noon Pacific Standard Time. And it's igniting the healing in our vibrant sanctuary for recovery and restorative justice. And reason why that's so important, because we're bringing it back. We're taking back what's our, and we're bringing justice to our own humanity. Because if we don't start, nobody's going to give it to us. If we don't have a place for it, nobody's going to give us a place. And it starts within the home. And so when you talk about technology, thank God for Zoom. Thank God for WhatsApp. Thank God for Facebook. We could start in our homes. You don't have to come to Africa unless you want to. But we can restore what's ours now. Where suffering meets support, I got you. Because I know what support should look like, what I want it to look like, and what I've been through and that I disliked. Like, no, I ain't doing that. You're not calling me a subculture. I refuse. And I never forget this experience. And I will share this. I was in Clackamas Community College in Oregon, right? I have to say it all, snooty, Oregon, but it gave me a lot. It gave me a lot of life lessons in how to deal with people. And the professor, I won't mention her name because I really don't care, but she was like, this is a subculture and you're a subculture. And she had all of these African blah, 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 blah. And it was sub everything. And I said, you will not acknowledge me as sub anything. You will not. I will not even be considered. I'm not even listening to you. And I don't care about your classifications and what you're teaching and your dogma. I'm a human and everybody I know is a human. Let's take away out the bullshit. We're divided. We're so divided. Divide and conquer. No. Fat against small, tall against short, black against light. No, we're restoring that. We're bringing justice and humanity, and I'm saluting the divinity in each one of in this unapologetic Black space. Let's process with pride. Let's do it together. And that's what this is about. So there's the ID, the meeting link. It's on Zoom. Let's hook up. Let's show up and show out and restore together.
And once again, those are on Mondays and Thursdays, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we'll add that.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll make a note of it.
okay, definitely. Okay, what else do I want to share? I think that's it. I just wanted to give people an opportunity to know who you are. So this, a priest, I called her initially. She said she's a priest. I couldn't drive. I knew she was something and I couldn't quite put my name on it. And she said, well, a priestess. I remember going in Cuba. I went to Cuba a couple of times and I would see the women in white. And I know that they were going through a religious ceremony or process. And when you said priestess, it made sense to me. And I was like, aha. But then you said, but because of my masculine energy, I prefer the term priest. And I respect that. So priest, Black Jewel, thank you for coming on to Ma'at on the Mat.
Welcome.
I'll be sharing with my audience more of what it is that you do, because we need healing. And if you look at my platform, it's about transformation. I'm glad that you did mention that word earlier, because I am going through a transformation. I know for me, my the first thing I did when I got here, I did a lot of crying. I would cry at the drop of a dime, and my Airbnb host, I had to apologize to her, and she said, I understand, just let it go.
Definitely.
Once you determine that you want to be here, and then the process it takes to get the tickets, sell the this, pack up the that, let the family know, close your ears to the negativity and go, once you get here,
Right. Or don't let them
you
know.
don't take
Just come.
that burden. I didn't let them know right away. I only told my and one other person, I think, and I was like, I'm out. And as they made the announcement on the plane that all your electronic devices are to be turned off at this time, I quickly left a message on Facebook for my family, headed off to Africa, talk with y'all later, bye. And when I finally arrived in Addis Ababa and turned on my phone, the phone was lit with messages, but it was something that I had to do because people will easily talk you out of your vision. And if you don't know your vision before you get here and you try to explain to people, I don't know, but I'm hearing some kind of calling and I got to go, and they looking at you like you have lost your doggone mind. I grew up in the church. I taught children's church for 10 years. I was in liturgical dance. I was in the prayer ministry, did it. But what it did was prepare me for this journey here.
Yes,
Do I pray still? Oh, yes, I do.
of course.
What I've done, I bring and acknowledge my ancestors. So I always say in the book of Hebrews, I think it's in chapter 11, verse 1, the Bible talks about this great cloud of witnesses.
Mhm.
Those to me are not the angels or per se. They're my ancestors. They're the ones that know me personally. You a witness to me, you can describe me, you know my full name, you know my birthday, you know all about me. And
Yes.
when you're applauding me and rooting me on, it's because you know the vision for my life. You planted that in my mother's womb with me so I could carry on the legacy. So
Mhm.
when I make that step and I'm getting to that journey, you are the great cloud of witnesses that are applauding me on. That to me is more personal. It
Mhm.
connects to my
Right.
spirit root of who I am, and not just like this random spirit that I cannot connect to. I appreciate the known and the unknown, because for us in America, being stripped of our identity
Mhm.
as Africans from the continent, we don't know unless we do whatever we do, where we find out the back information. I cannot tell you who my great grandfather is.
Mhm.
I cannot tell you who my great grandmother is. My mother can have some stories, but she passed. I have to talk to my aunt, but we didn't talk about those things.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they didn't exist. They existed, but they're just the unknown. And so we get this opportunity to acknowledge them too. And so I appreciate that. With that being said, I want to go over one more time. Let's see if I can find this on. I'm going to share the screen once more because some people are visual. I know I am visual. So let me try to find very quickly. I want to come out of here. How can I come out of here? I'm going to close this out. And I want to quickly, bear with me. I got so much going on. You got a phone call. I have people reaching out to me about some things. I got to start my day. And that's Jewel with 2 L's and not one. Hold on. You see my horrible typing as I type. Okay. I have a few things for you, and we're going to go right over. It's on the laptop, but sometimes it doesn't show. Here it is here. Can I open this up? I would like to make this bigger. It's okay. They may be in our conversation. We don't care. It's good stuff. Can you see this here?
Yeah.
Cash App is $. It says the number 1 Life Jewel with 2 L's at the end. And then Zelle and PayPal is Jewel Colbert. Now, excuse me, I was pronouncing it as Colbert. It's Colbert. So Jewel Colbert 2016 at gmail.com. You can bless her there with any donation that you feel impressed on your heart to give. Cash App, Zelle, and PayPal. So I'm gonna leave this here for a little bit longer, allow people to write the information down, take a screenshot, whatever it is that they do to collect this information. And then we're gonna end this screen share in about 5 seconds. So people, get your pencil and get your piece of paper. Like I said, get your cell phone. It's always near you. Screenshot this thing and get it going. Be a blessing to Jewel as she be a blessing to us.
Thank you, Leslie.
All right, sister. Thank you so much for coming on to my on the mat. I do appreciate you. I will let you know about the good talks we are going to be having on on this coming Saturday. But this is going to be a topic for discussion. I'm going to break it down into different categories as we start to peel away the layers. And I have questions. Those questions will be next platform. So Sex in Africa is the topic, but then there will be subtopics regarding how that looks like, what it looks like, and how to protect yourself to get the best. Because I've been telling people, I'm not trying to block your, I'm not trying to do that. But what I want you to do is stay safe while you're doing it.
Right.
And be happy before you do it, girl, while you doing it, and then after you do it.
You have to add, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like. Let's get that energy.
Yes.
So we can.
And that's deep. That's deep, sister, because this is going back to the drugs and the hip hop and back into our 20s and 30s and back into what relationship looked like at the age of 20 and what it looks like now. We're gonna talk about it all. We're gonna talk about it all. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Continue to have a wonderful day.
You do the same, sis.
Peace and love, sister.
Bye.
Okay. Ashe.